Hello, my name is Sister Rose Picotti of the Pauline Center for Media Studies, and along with Sister Angela Anzikowski of the University of Dayton's Virtual Learning Community for Faith Formation, I am happy to welcome you to the Media Literacy Education Certificate Program. Media Literacy Education, or Media Mindfulness as we like to call it within the context of faith formation, is an educational imperative for the 21st century. Leaders in this emerging educational field describe its importance. The convergence of media and technology in a global culture is changing the way we learn about the world and challenging the very foundations of education. No longer is it enough to be able to read the printed word. Children, youth, and adults too need the ability to critically interpret the powerful images of a multimedia culture. Media literacy education provides a framework and a pedagogy for the new literacy needed for living, working, and citizenship in the 21st century. Moreover, it paves the way to mastering the skills required for lifelong learning in a constantly changing world. The immediate goal of the Media Literacy Education Certificate Program is to provide catechists, teachers, youth ministers, and pastoral ministers with a comprehensive grounding in media learning, theory, and praxis. The certificate program originates within the context of Catholic education and faith formation and integrates the recommendations of the General Directory for Catechesis and the National Directory for Catechesis. The Media Literacy Education Certificate is awarded for the successful completion of 3 levels: basic, intermediate, and advanced. These courses may be taken as electives for other certificate programs as well. The overall goals of the Media Literacy Certificate Program are for students to learn and develop critical thinking skills through inquiry and analysis of all forms of media messages, to understand and apply the core concepts and key questions of media literacy education to media texts, that is, popular culture, television programs, print, websites, video games, movies, music, and advertising. To integrate media literacy education across the religious education curriculum. To develop media mindfulness as a life skill for participation in the larger community in freedom and responsibility. To articulate personal, family, and community values to form a lens for choosing, analyzing, discerning, and responding to media messages. To consider the major themes of Catholic social teaching vis-a-vis media stories, images, and sound. And so very much more. I'd like to say a few words about this beautiful image of Rublev's icon of the Trinity. The Trinity and the self-communicating love between the 3 persons of the Blessed Trinity forms the theological basis for our consideration of communication, mediated communication, and catechesis. I hope that this will become more clear as we go along through our series. Let's take a few moments now to take a look at some of the video resources we will be using during our sessions. These were produced by Nick Pernisco, a media educator from Santa Monica College. These will be made available in their entirety online. If at the end of the course you would like to order copies for use in your own ministry, ordering information will be provided.
Since you were very young, you've been exposed to things in the media that will help shape your viewpoint for the rest of your life. Whether it's listening to your favorite radio station or band, watching your favorite cable TV channel, reading magazines, chatting in online communities, or even talking to your friends, you're receiving messages that someone else created for your consumption. This makes you a media consumer. The question is, are you a passive media consumer who just accepts these messages at face value, or an active media consumer who thinks critically about these messages before accepting them?
We are so immersed in a media culture that we don't even see it anymore. As George Gerbner says, we're no more aware of our media environment than a fish is aware that is swimming in water. It's all we know. And because it's all we know, it goes relatively unexamined over the course of most of our lives.
To define media literacy, I would define literacy and what that is first. And there's a big push in elementary school, especially in teaching students how to read. What there isn't a push in is in teaching students to understand their world before they learn to read. So they're learning to read just for reading's sake. Applying that to media, it's about understanding what media is and also how media is constructed and how media is produced.
We get virtually all of our information from media. When you think about where we get our news, or where we learn about what's going on in our communities, what happens in our children's schools, all of us have a stake in the media world. And as a result, it's so important to have that knowledge of what media brings to our lives and to be able to think critically about it. Whether it's print media, whether it's electronic media, whether it's digital media, it really doesn't matter. It's still core that we understand.
I hope you've enjoyed these clips. These and more will expand our perspective and reinforce our learning. I hope you've enjoyed this preview of the Media Literacy Certificate Program. For more information about the program, click on the other options on this site. But before leaving, I'm going to give you some homework. I'm a nut, I get to do that. Tonight, when you watch primetime network television, count and take note of how many commercials there are in a 1-hour program, what products and services they're selling, and see if you can identify the target audience. It's you. Thank you, and may God bless you.